Mic check. Okay, it's coming through. Welcome to Slave Nation on the Beaten Path and sponsored by OneRuleSupersedes.com. Today is September 9th, 2018. I have the date right there. I can never get it right. September 9th, 2018. And I am here with our guests, Vicky and Scott.
Hi.
Okay. And you can tell them your names on Fed if you like, or not. Up to you.
I don't have a problem with this. Dark Phoenix.
Okay. Okay, never mind. Okay.
She can't remember her own name sometimes.
That's okay.
I'm just tired.
Okay, well, today we're going to be talking about perfect submission, and if there is such a thing, we're going to have my favorite segment of all, mail call, because I just love all this. Even these horrible mails I get really excited about, which is really sad. But so it's just because they make me laugh. So we're going to have mail call, and then we're going to be talking about landmines. And that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, they usually are.
Boom!
Yeah, they usually are exciting.
Oh, they are. And then today we're going to have, so get your entries in now. SlaveNationRadio@gmail.com. Tell us what you like about the show, and you're entered to win. And we're going to have a box of goodies. You don't ever know what you're going to get in there. Some lube, some rope, some nipple clamps. And we also have the t-shirt from One Rule Supersedes, his Me line. You'll also get a t-shirt, and you just have to contact Lou, tell him which one you want, and then you get a t-shirt and you get a box of goodies.
Look at the camera when you talk.
Well, I have guests too, okay?
I'm kidding.
Okay, so that's everything that's coming up on Slave Nation. Of course, we have an excellent variety of music. It's unprepared, so I'm going to be hopping around from playlist to playlist. It's been a wild week, and I'm glad to be here. I'm sorry I missed you last week. Don't forget, all you have to do to enter from last week is say why you're so unhappy and devastated that I wasn't on, and you're entered to win. I need the ego fluff. I really do. So, and I will pay to get it done.
We were all so devastated when you weren't on last weekend.
Yay! My life is complete now. So we're going to go to a couple songs, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about the perfect set, the perfect submissive, the perfect slave.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll be right back. Get those entries in. Go. Type your little fingers off. SlaveNationRadio@gmail.com. And so, let's see what we got going. Something fun. Other than me talking. Okay. There we go.
OneRuleSupersedes.com is proud to announce that they are streaming beatenpath radio on their website. And to celebrate, the website is giving away free bumper stickers. That's right, bumper stickers for free. There's a variety of sayings that you can choose from. To get yours, go to OneRuleSupersedes.com/me for free and click on the bumper sticker that you want, and then use the coupon code me for free, that's ME, the number 4, and free, at the checkout, and they'll send it to you absolutely free. No tax, no shipping, no gimmicks, and no excuses for not getting yours today. There's a limit of one per person, and you have to be 18 years or older. And while you're there, check out their selection of t-shirts that they have on sale. And it's all right here at https://OneRuleSupersedes. That's the number 1, rulesupersedes.com/me for free. Again, that's ME number 4 free / Get yours today.
Welcome back to Slave Nation on the Beaten Path. And I'm here with Scott and Vicky, and we're going to talk about the perfect slave.
What perfect slave? There's no such thing as a perfect slave.
Well, two sit right here.
Debatably.
Okay.
Perspective.
It is perspective, and I came up with this because I received an email from this dominant, and she says, well, you're not into women, and perhaps I can help you.
How can she help you?
Well, and I asked her that, and she said, well, I can help you be the perfect slave and maintain it, because often subs and slaves lose their masters because they don't perform properly, I guess. You have a confused look.
Perfect slave is relative. I mean, you might be a perfect slave for somebody.
Yeah.
Vicky might be a perfect slave for me. You're not a perfect slave for me because you don't know me. You don't, not at least not on that level.
Yeah.
It's one dominant cannot train the slave to be the perfect slave for another dominant. It doesn't work that way.
Well, I agree. And, I've had these conversations where you're talking to people, and they will ask you, what kind of training do you have? Well, and I tell them, or you must be trained well because you have a previous master or master. And I said, well, none of that counts or matters because what he required of me and what he allowed doesn't mean you will allow it, and it's not necessarily what you will require or need.
Exactly. I mean, for me, if this was my household, neither one of you would be in clothes right now. But, another master may not think that way. There's no perfect slave except for that particular dominant. And they teach their slaves their way of doing things. Then they can become a perfect slave for that dominant.
It can be an ideal slave for that dominant.
An ideal. There's no such thing as perfection in anything.
Yeah.
But become an ideal slave for that dominant. Yeah, there's no training. There's no slave school in the world. Unless you want to talk about the story of O, and that's
passing notes in class.
Talk louder. I thought I was talking loudly.
Well, last time they had a little bit of trouble hearing Vicky.
Well, then Vicky needs to get closer to the dang microphone.
I'm the one who's always put in the back. I don't know.
Well, I didn't.
There, get closer to that microphone.
I know you can move your chair. Okay. Now we're going. Okay, so do you think there is anything that is an absolute, like a universal absolute for every slave?
There's certain protocols and rules that every slave should know.
Mm-hmm.
Something community-based
Etiquette.
Yeah.
Other than that, no. If there's the etiquette of what do you do at an event? How do you address? If you're a college slave, how do you address other dominants in the community? How do you do this? How do you do that within the community? But that's, slave positions for kneeling and stuff like that. Those are kind of universal. There's only so many ways you can kneel.
Yeah. But see, even kneeling becomes void because you have to look at the individual. Not all slaves can kneel.
Well, no, they can't, and not all dominants require kneeling. Yeah. But, you can teach certain things to a submissive, like kneeling positions and etiquette and universal protocols, things like that. But beyond that, then it becomes down to individual individual perspectives and individual training for that dominant. So if you have a dominant and he's trained you for 3 years, next thing you know, you're not collared by that dominant anymore, and you meet some new dominant, and you fall into your training that your last dominant gave you. Next thing you know, you're breaking every rule that your new dominant sets for you. That there is no perfect slave. There's an ideal, but there's no perfection in it. I've had so many submissives that go, well, I've been trained, not by me.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's true. Okay, so what is your ideal of the perfect slave? Like,
okay, now I'm going to give you a quizzical look again.
yes.
I tend to tailor myself to whichever submissive I'm with, because going back to the last time we were here and talking, it was the submissive is the one in control initially. They have their limits. They have their they have the things that they will and will not do. So until they become collared, it is you're learning about them. There are certain things that Vicky won't do. That other slaves that I've had in the past would. So I have to tailor my rules and my protocols to an extent, not completely, but to an extent, to mold to her a little bit. And then I take that, then I use that as a baseline, and I mold her more towards my rules. So you have to learn your submissive's limits and what their desires are. Some slaves don't want to kneel. It's, for whatever reason, it's a moral code, it's a physical ailment, it's whatever, and you have to learn these things before you slap down the law and say, you have to kneel. Every time I sit down in a chair, you need to be kneeling at my feet. No. It's learn them first and then tailor your rules for them. For instance, with you have a makeup thing.
Yes, I do.
Okay. If I don't have a big makeup fetish, per se. The way you look the way you look when you wake up in the morning is, if we're in a relationship, the way you wake up in the morning is the way I love you. You don't have to put on this face for me. But you have a makeup thing, so I would tailor my rules towards that makeup thing. You get 35 minutes to do your makeup in the morning.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Someone's been smoking crack. That just covers the eyes.
But you understand what I mean. That's teaching a sub. Or not even teaching a sub. That's creating your rules based on what you know about your sub and what their desires are. So there's really no even ideal sub. There's no perfect sub. There's what you make in your relationship with your sub. That's all I gotta say about that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna counter comment here because.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you said you kind of tailor around your sub and their limits and stuff, and I've always been of the belief. Now, of course, everyone's beliefs are different, and everything, but I've been of the belief, like, if I'm talking to a master, I find out what his limits are, and I see if I can live up to what he wants and what he needs.
And that's perfectly acceptable. That's a very good counterpoint. If you and I were in a relationship and you wanted to do that with me, awesome. I will give you I've shown you my list of rules.
Yes.
I
loved them.
Yeah. When Vicky and I got together, I showed her my list of rules, and she read through them and goes, I love them. And then she hasn't looked by them yet. But
she's a good girl.
No, she is a very good girl. It's just, you got to tailor the relationship to what makes both people happy, comfortable. And it goes both ways. The sub's trying to reach to my limits, and I'm trying to reach to hers.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that makes a good dominant too, is you realize that, and people go, well, the slave, it's all about me, it's all about me, it's all about me, but you're not going to get the level of service and the level of devotion you want if you forget that your slave is human, has emotions, feelings,
Exactly.
and also wants, likes, and desires.
Exactly. And that you have to, as a dominant, you have to know that, and you have to realize that, and that actually segues really good into landmines, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Emotional response, dominants should be observant. Even when the sub doesn't think that they're being observant, they are. They should be, at least.
Well, that's where you get a sub that acts up if you're not being observant.
Yeah. What are you pouting for?
Don't call me out.
They can see you on YouTube.
There's no one there. Shh.
Okay.
You have a comment on these? No? Okay. See, that's what I'm talking about. I know she wouldn't comment on this, so.
Well, she's too interested. We have kittens here. All she can think about is the little kitties.
And a lot of times I'm not sure I have much of a perspective to put on things just because I'm new and I'm like, I just sort of want to sit back and learn sometimes.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's true of new submissives too. And then you also said you're on the Shire type. Shire type. And believe it or not, I used to be really shy like you. But then over the time, and they've all heard it before. I went out with my old master and we went to dinner with his friends and I didn't say one peep except for what I wanted off the menu and stuff. And, was he livid when we got home. Oh, did I really hear it. You made everyone uncomfortable. So after that, I read up on, current events and movies that were out and all that stuff, so I'd have something I could contribute. But then over time, I realized, because part of the shyness, I think, is you're worried that your opinion and what you have to say will not be validated or people will say it's wrong or whatever. But then I realized over time, everything I have to say is just as valid as anything anyone else has to say.
Yep, exactly.
And if they don't like it, then they don't like it. But that doesn't mean I'm wrong.
Exactly. Unless you're talking about the moon and whether it's made of cheese or stone, then you're either right or wrong. But if you're talking facts, yeah. But no, opinions, there is no wrong opinion in anything.
Yeah, so that's just one of the little things, over time, it's like I finally realized that everything I have to say is just as valuable as everyone else's.
Yeah.
Flapping their toes. Especially when they were making me so mad and they're saying these ridiculous, how some people just come up with a ridiculous statement. Mm-hmm. And then you just, finally, it took years and years, but then I realized.
Yeah. No, and that's what your old master did. He read you the Riot Act and told you to open up to the world. When it comes to Vicky here, I don't read her the Riot Act. I let her come out on her own. She's her own person. She has her own feelings, and she is shy. And I also know that eventually she's going to come out of her shell and bloom and blossom and ride roughshod over me for most things. For opinions, at least. Shruggy. No, she's very opinionated in private, so.
Well, to be fair, he didn't tell me you better talk next time or you better do this or you better do that, but he was really livid and he kind of left it up to me to figure it out.
Yeah, I wouldn't have left it up to you to figure out that, but that's the difference between your old master and me.
Yeah.
I would have set rules and said, if you're part of a conversation, don't just sit there and silently, contribute to the conversation. Even if you don't know what they're talking about, just find something to contribute. You don't have to know football statistics and
Well, and one thing I found very valuable too, and when you're in the conversation and like you have nothing to say, you just ask them, "Well, what are your thoughts on that?" And they will just go. They will go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I like to be quiet.
Okay. How about we go to a break?
Okay.
We'll come
good.
back. Everyone, get your last day. Since I was out last week, you get another entry today, but you have to get it in before the show, and then the show ends, and then we'll be doing other fun stuff. The fun stuff being the drawing, and we'll be back, and we'll be back, and we're back on Slave Nation, and while we were on break, Vicky developed opinions.
Oh my God, it's a miracle.
It is.
I love her opinions. She usually puts articulate words in my mouth.
Yeah, they were very good. So,
I mean, my first point was just the simple factor that of what my master was bringing up in that you, or what both of you were what you were both bringing up in that you mesh together and you move together, and it just reminded me how, like, any married couple, after years and years, if you speak to them, they end up being very similar. Like, they've already meshed together, obviously, if they've been together for that long. It's hard to tell them apart because they just figure each other out after a while, which is the exact same in any submissive dominant relationship. I also had the thought of the idea of a perfect submissive changes in state in according to whether you're talking to the submissive or the master or dominant or whatever. Because a submissive could easily have their ideal how they want to be pictured in mind versus that would be different to a master. Like in how they want to present themselves and how they want to
be dominated.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's one of those things that you would want to figure out first before even jumping into any relationships, is figuring out what would make you happiest to be and to be fulfilled by.
Question comes down to, you had the question of, is there a perfect slave?
mm-hmm.
What's the reverse of that?
Is there a perfect dominant?
Is there a perfect master? And the answer to that is no, there's not. There's finding the perfect master for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they're looking for the perfect slave for them. It's like any other relationship, it's just a different type of dynamic. And I know I used that word a lot the last time I was on the show, of dynamics,
Yes.
but, you know, DS is, I said it, I'll say it again, DS is not a kink, it's a lifestyle, and how you work within that lifestyle is your way of doing things. And hell, I'll send you my list of rules and you can post it somewhere or something.
Oh, I would love that. I'll put it on set.
But, you know, I sent this list of rules to Vicky when we first met. And I told her, read these. These are the rules that I like to use. And she went through them and went, yes, line by line of those rules. I don't think you said no to any of them, did you?
The only thing that I said no to was no swearing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You said you do have a potty mouth.
Yep.
I still don't allow you to swear in public, or in social situations, but yeah. She's allowed to curse at me all the time.
As long as it's not in anger.
Yes.
Or anything. But in that sense, I shouldn't be doing that anyway.
No, nothing ever in any dynamic that's master-slave, dominant, submissive should ever be done in anger, and that goes in both directions. You know, if you have a problem with what I've told you to do, or some instruction that I've given you, and it just makes you angry, that I told you to do this, take 30 seconds, clear your head, and talk to me about it. You know, ask for clarification. Maybe you misunderstood what I said. Maybe I wasn't articulate enough to, and there's my word for the day, articulate. Maybe I wasn't articulate enough in my instruction to give you that there was a misunderstanding, and that misunderstanding caused an emotional response. And if you take 30 seconds to go, okay, maybe this was just a misunderstanding. Let me get clarification, and then in the end you go, no, I still really don't want to do that. But at that point, it comes down to, well,
Negotiate.
And it can come down to negotiation, or it could just come down to, well, Master said to do it, and you're going to do it, or you're going to get a paddling. You know, it happens.
Well, it's like everything in life. You often have to do things you don't like. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you feel? I'm going to ask you about this one, because everyone that knows me here is, I'm a double checker, and it's not really I'm questioning as much as it's like, okay, well, you tell me to go do the dishes. Okay, you want me to go do the dishes? Do you want the pots and pans done too? You know, what kind of dishwashing liquid do you need? What's my time limit? I mean, all these questions are coming about because I'm just not a perfectionist. I just know that there's some way I'm going to mess it up. So I'm like, okay, you want the dishes done, and how soon do you want them done? And you know,
let's see. I want the dishes, pots, pans, everything done. I want I want the kitchen spotless.
Yeah.
You know, I want the counters. I don't want the counters cluttered. I want everything put in its proper place, and you have until you get it done.
Okay, well, I mean, after a while, you learn exactly what your master wants and everything. But I'm just one of those that's, and I go back and I'm like, I have a million questions. It could be the simplest task, and it's a lot of dominants will take that as you're questioning them, as you're questioning their authority. And for me, it's just like
any good dominant, any good master out there will understand that the first few times that you're looking for clarification. I have a problem with certain things. If I consider it to be common sense, if I give you an instruction that I consider that I want done, and I consider it to be common sense, and you come back and question me about it, no.
okay, I'll see. There's a good chance I'm going to come back just because I don't know. It's just, and it's not.
If I say clean the kitchen, mm-hmm. It means get and that's common sense. Clean the kitchen, you know. Go do laundry. I shouldn't have to say, you know, wash, dry, fold, not just wash.
Well, see, but then you're saying go do laundry, but what laundry do you want first? I mean, do we have a priority laundry list? I mean, do we need the linens done today first? Do we need the clothes done today first? I mean, what's going on with this laundry?
In our household, it's on the days that I want the linens done, I tell her, well, make sure you do the bed.
Okay, well, see, that's good. That's good information to have.
On any other day, it's today's your laundry day, you know, and she knows that it's wash, dry, and fold and put away. Any and all laundry. Then on days that I want the linens done, I tell her I want the bed done today, and it should be done about once a week, considering how much she squirts all over it. But
are you sure once a week is enough?
But then there are other things like since I do most of the laundry, I'm also aware of like how many shirts he has. If it's during the work week and he needs work clothes, it's between us. I'm aware of those things, and I try and keep on top of it. There are times where I'm not the best, but.
You have failed in that respect a couple of times, where I've gone, I have no work shirts, And she's looked at me and went, sorry, and rushes off to the laundry room and finds the cleanest work shirt she can find and hands it to me. But that's something that's kind of gotten better over time. That's not something that happened right away. It takes time to develop those kind of dynamics with somebody, and that's the same with a vanilla relationship. If you're with somebody if you've been together with somebody for 20 years, the two of you are like the same person.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think I said my piece on this one.
Okay. Excellent.
Are you sure you said your piece? Oh, you have a kitten crawling all over you. That's all your problem. That's what your problem is.
Kitten distraction.
It's also kitten bravery.
Bravery?
Yeah. I'm with my kin.
Oh, her comfort kitten, yeah.
Well, she is a kitten.
With a kitten.
With
so
a
it's
kitten.
my kitten.
Nice. It is a cute one.
Do you want to actually?
I don't really want to hold it. I just want to hold it. Okay, see the cute little kitty? Oh, and my hand's not really that big. This camera's just making it look like a Sasquatch hand. So, priorities. Always priorities. You don't have big hands at Slave Nation, except for the men that come on the show. Enormous. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. Impressive.
Yeah, well.
So, okay.
Next.
Yeah. Landmines.
Landmines. I don't know if anybody else uses this term. I've heard some masters use the word landmines in the past. Some dominants. Landmines are. Let's go down to the basics here. Landmines are, in military terms, a hidden explosive. You know. But landmines in the B&D and S&M world are you stumbling across something as a dominant. You're stumbling across something in the submissive during a scene or even just in day-to-day life that elicits an explosive emotional response. And the reason why they're called landmines is because 9 times out of 10, the submissive doesn't even know it exists. As an example, I had a submissive at one point that she could take a paddling all day long. Spankings, paddlings, whippings, everything. And we were doing a scene one time and somebody had suggested a wooden spoon. As soon as she saw that wooden spoon, she broke down, curled up into fetal position, and started wailing. I hadn't even touched her with it. She didn't know it was going to happen. And it turns out later, it was a regressed memory of the fact that a parent figure in her life used to use a wooden spoon as a punishment and spank her with it. And it was a regressed memory, a regressed emotional response. Huh? Repressed.
Raspberries.
Well, I give her raspberries all the time.
Not raspberries, the food though. Oh, they're icky. But
yeah, I know.
Sorry.
But anyway, it's that's what a landmine is. It's a hidden explosive emotional response to some form of stimuli or something that even the sub doesn't know it's there. The whole point is it's hidden even from them. And the only thing you can do when you hit a landmine is become that aftercare, instant aftercare, instant emotional support for whatever's going on. You know, you hit a landmine, scene's done.
Yeah.
Don't even consider going back to doing whatever it was that you were doing. And 9 times out of 10, landmines are not treatable. They're not something you can change they're not something you can fix where, you know, eventually, yes, I can start using that wooden spoon on my sub. No. It's 9 times out of 10, it's not something that's fixable.
It becomes a hard limit.
Yeah, it becomes a hard limit. Landmines tend to become hard limits, and masters have to be aware of them. The dominants have to be aware of these landmines. You're going to hit them. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Mm-hmm. Every sub has a landmine somewhere buried deep in their subconscious, and you're going to find it eventually, especially the longer you are with somebody. So, just as a dom to other doms, keep that in mind. You know, when you hit that landmine, just be ready to go into recovery mode, because that's all you can do at that point. And I'm surprised you've never heard that before.
I haven't.
Have you heard of trigger?
Triggers? Yeah, I've heard of triggers.
They're very similar, except a landmine is a trigger that has been yet to be discovered.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard triggers, but never the landmines.
Yeah, it's just a hidden trigger. I call them landmines. You can call them whatever you want. You can call them hidden triggers. You can call them bouncing betties.
Okay, is that something you made up, bouncing betties, or is that actually a term?
It's an actual military term from Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
Bouncing betties were landmines that you stepped on them. As soon as you stepped off, they bounced out of the ground about 5 feet in the air and exploded.
Oh my!
So yeah, it's.
Were you in the military?
Yes.
Okay.
I was in the Navy for 6 years, Army for 2 years. So.
Awesome. My dad was in the Navy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went in the Navy because I wanted to actually see the world. You know, the Army has that old commercial: "Join the Army, see the world." Bullshit. You want to see the world? Join the Navy. They're the only ones that get around and see things. So.
Yeah, my dad was actually in Vietnam, but he was on a boat.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Well, he probably wasn't in country then, so.
Well, they would go off the boat to go drinking.
Go drinking, yeah.
Or what they call it? Leave.
Yeah, go on leave.
Shore leave.
Shore leave.
Yeah. And the Navy has the best uniforms.
Do they?
Absolutely, they are awesome. They're amazing.
The dress uniforms or the
all of them? All of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I really loved wearing bell bottoms for 6 years.
Okay. Now, in the bell bottom world, if you have to wear bell bottoms, you might as well be in the Navy. Because if you put on bell bottom jeans, then you just look stupid. But if you have a Navy uniform on, sorry, she wears bell bottom jeans, don't you?
I love bell bottoms. They're my favorite boot cut, or they're my favorite pant cut.
Do you know that there's actually a function for those bell bottoms in the Navy?
Yes, it was something to do with when you think. I can't remember this. It was I know there is an actual function.
Yeah, because the bell bottoms allow you to tie the ends shut, and then if you slam the pants down into the water, they become flotation devices.
See, it has something to do with sinking.
They're improvised life preservers.
Huh. See how smart the Navy is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with the hats. Those white hats that they wear,
that
they fold into a dome.
Yeah.
Same thing. If you slam it down, if it's wet and you slam it down in the water, it retains air inside of it, and you can use it for an improvised flotation device. Well, not a very good one, but it works for if you're in an immediate need for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so what else can you say about landmines?
Not much. I mean, it's just something that every dom should be aware of. You know, those triggers, those hidden triggers that you don't know they are. You don't know they're there. The sub doesn't know they're there. And you're going to step on one eventually. It's not a matter of when, it's if, it's when. And you have to deal with it at that point and at that time. And don't expect to fix it.
Oh, they're talking about my eye makeup. That's got to be pretty. Well, okay, you dominants really have to be on your game because, okay, other than landmines, okay, now this is my opinion. You can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but submissives and slaves are pretty emotional and
Oh
up and
God.
down. He's really excited. Okay, here, come show me your eye
Emotional
makeup
is
too.
not the emotional is
Okay.
not.
That's your eyelashes. Okay, there. That's all that. Emotionally, I'm sorry, we interrupted you.
No, that's fine. Emotional isn't exactly the word for it, but
Okay, what is the word for it?
What's your choice word for this matter?
Yeah. Oh my God.
pain in the ass.
Oh.
I mean, I certainly am, so.
No. It's human nature to be emotional. And it's how Doms deal with it that makes a Dom.
Yeah.
And last time I was on the show, Dom should never get angry. You should never have an emotional response to counter your submissive's emotional response. Communication, conversation. Realize you can't fix everything. That's what makes a Dom. I mean, besides being confident and decisive in your life and in the relationship and everything else, it's your own response to what they're doing that makes you a Dom. I always tell Vicky here, I mean, if you need to rant and rave, rant and rave. Just don't rant and rave at me. Rant and rave to me. You know, if you're angry with something I've done, go cool your heels and then come talk to me about it. Because what is the one emotion? What is the one response most people have when confronted by somebody else?
Anger.
Defense.
Yeah. Well, that is your anger coming out.
Yeah.
So you get defensive.
You get defensive. Doms don't have the luxury of getting defensive. Well, at least we shouldn't anyway. I don't get defensive with Vicky, at least not that I know of. Do I get defensive with you?
No. Not on a regular basis that I would remember.
But you don't get defensive. If your sub is coming to you with a problem and she's yelling at you and she's ranting and raving, realize that they're having an emotional response to something. It may have been something you've done or not done. It may be something unrelated to you completely. Listen to their rant and rave. Don't get defensive about it. Have confidence in yourself that you can deal with this without giving it back to them.
I think that comes with your take your 30 seconds, take a time out thing.
Yeah.
Because I know I would set my old master off, you know, because I'm me. But I could really get him going. And he'd just be like, go sit down, go do something. I'll talk to you in a bit. And he never blew, you know.
It comes down to emotional maturity. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that most men who are dominant don't really become dominant until they're over the age of 30. Because they don't have the emotional maturity to handle a submissive or a slave. Now, that's not true for everybody.
Yeah. Well, you did say most.
I've met some younger men that are very good at being dominant. But then again, I've never seen them behind closed doors either. You know, I don't know how they treat their dominants behind closed, or treat their submissives behind closed doors. So it's an emotional maturity with the dom. I've seen some. If you're an 18-year-old and you want to be a dominant and everything else, you better have the maturity of a 30-year-old. You better realize that not everything is about you. You know, not everything is directly related to you. You know, if your sub is having an emotional problem and they're ranting and raving and they're yelling at you because, oh my God, they found a sock on the floor, you know, realize that they're having an emotional response. They've had a bad day to something else or something else. This was that straw that broke the camel's back. Take the time to listen to them. Once they're calmed down, talk to them about it, you know. In regards to the sock, you're like, yeah, that's your responsibility anyway. And I understand it's the straw that broke the camel's back. You've had a bad day. Let's cuddle. Let's do whatever. Let's get your emotions back under control, and then we'll deal with the sock. You know? So that's my opinion on dom stuff.
Yeah. Well,
it is an ideal. It's an idealistic vision of dominance. A lot of doms aren't that way, unfortunately.
Well, I have to say, my old master, he had the patience of Job with me. I used to PMS off the roof. I mean, just like those shows you see where the woman, I'm not sure if it was on one of those talk shows, and she pulled over her car and she told her kid, "You give me that Reese's peanut butter cup right now." But I mean, I was like on that kind of crazy level, and he was just so patient. You know, we were at a bed and breakfast. This was great, and we went upstairs, and he's like, "What was wrong with you? You look so upset down there. You just look so upset." And I was like, "I was. Did you hear that woman laughing?" And I just didn't like her laugh, and it just set me off over the edge.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was any normal person would have just been, but I was PMS, and he's like, "Well, and he's so calm and patient. It's like, well, next time that happens, just let me know, and I'll take care of it because you don't have to tolerate that kind of stuff." It's like,
yeah, every really good dom should have the patience of a saint.
Yeah. Because
you're going to deal with a lot, and you're going to take a lot on your shoulders, and that includes the emotional support of your submissive. And if you don't have the patience of a saint, you're going to end up being your own time bomb.
Oh yeah.
And that's not a good thing. You're going to lose a lot of submissives if you're a time bomb yourself. You know, even in vanilla relationships, I don't know very many women that'll put up with you going off your rails because of something stupid, or just because you've just had enough, and hey, they start yelling at you, and you're like, "Get the fuck out of my house." Well, hey, you just ruined your own dynamic because you didn't have patience enough to listen to what was going on.
Yeah. Well, not only that, why would your submissive, your slave, want to stay around when you just say, "Get out of my house"? It's like, yeah, I'll go, and
or just even telling them to fuck off. I've told Vicky to fuck off a couple of times, but she knows it was in jest.
Yeah.
You gotta have patience, and you can't let your anger out. You just gotta bottle it, and if you need to really let your anger out, put her on her knees, stick your dick in from behind, and go to town. Let it out that way.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll enjoy that a hell of a lot more than you yelling at her.
Yeah.
Because most submissives that I know of like it rough, but.
But we do not like me. I can't stand being yelled at, and especially if you cuss at me, then I'm over the edge. You just lost me. I'm out.
Yeah.
But not totally out of the relationship, because I understand too that there comes that point like where you slip. But if it's a constant, I'm gone. Not having it, not doing it. Cane me, spank me, beat me, get me from behind, but start yelling and cussing at me. I'm done. Done.
Well, damn it, Deb. You're just not a good enough slave for me.
Yeah, not the perfect slave, am I? Okay, we're going to go to break, and then we'll be,
Mail call!
Okay. Oh, yeah, mail call when we come back.
Yes.
You'll have to help me read it because some of it I can't read. Because
Why?
it has cussing in it.
It has cussing in it?
Yeah.
I'll read it.
Okay.
If it's coming from a guy, I'll read it. If it's coming from a girl, she'll read it.
I think it's all coming from mostly men.
Mostly men.
Yeah.
Oh, they better not be cussing at you. You're the sweetest little girl in the world.
I love this man. What a smart guy. Okay, we will be right back. And then we'll talk some more. Welcome back to Slave Nation on the Beaten Path.
Did you get your YouTube done?
I did get my YouTube done, I'm pretty sure. And it's only the first fifth of the day. And you know what that means? When you hear Freak Magnet, then you get to hear Mail Call, which is always exciting. And I had this one, and I even made a little note on it because I was going to respond, because I respond to them. Anyway, so I can read this one. And this is from New By Explorer, NEWBYEXPOORE. And he says, "Hi piggies, are you looking to be owned and controlled property as a couple?" Well, I'm not even listed as a couple, but I wanted to respond with, "Oink oink, get back to your pen."
Oink, oink.
So, any little piggy couples? I mean, in what world is that okay to start off like that? And clearly he didn't read my profile or anything. So we have that, and then here's what we have.
I think this one's hungry.
So,
Well, we could put them both in the back of the box.
Okay, this one.
and it started out, this one started out okay, and then it quickly turned not so nice. So this is from Cumsuckle.
That was good enough. It stopped my sneeze fest.
Yeah, okay, so that should have been a clue right there. Cumsuckle. CUMSUCKLE. And he says, "Where in Oregon are you? ? Seaside ? And so I said, Yamhill County. And then he proceeds with, "Looking at your pics makes me drip."
What?
Yes. And then I asked, "Do you talk to everyone like that?" And he says, "Yeah, it attracts the slut out of them." And,
Really?
yes.
No.
Does it now?
Oh, so I'm just dripping.
Oh, it brought the slut out of you?
Oh, yeah. Come and get it, man.
You just turned your master gay.
Even I can figure out how to do that.
So then he tells me it attracts the slut out of them, and I asked him, "And this actually works for you?" And he says, "Best way to cut the chatter and get to the gulping. I like to do the same on you also." Okay, I know you're wondering, why aren't you with this guy right now? And I said, "Yeah, that does not work for me." And he says, "It's okay. I would love to just lick you. I would come anyway." So, I know, again, you're wondering, why aren't you with this charmer right now?
Yeah, he seems like a real
Absolutely.
breadwinner.
He seems like the best in the world.
So, you see why I love mail so much? I said, "Thanks, but I will have to pass. Lots of luck on your slut hunting."
You know, I just don't get it. No, actually, I do. Men are whores, but just because a sub is in the PND and S&M lifestyle does not make them a slut. Not in any way, shape, or form. God, that's just wrong.
I think your only problem here is you're going, oh my God, if he would have got to Vicky before me.
She would have bitch slapped him before it.
I would have sent him the personal number of the nearest police station. Have him send those texts there, and we'll see how long he lasts.
Oh my gosh! So yeah, I know. I missed my chance. I really blew it.
Yeah, you did.
Oh well.
I'm sure he's got a full 2 inches for you.
Maybe.
Shower not a grower.
But nice. And then again, I blew it because I also heard from Rocket Man.
Rocket Man? I think I've heard of Rocket Man. Wasn't he on a television show?
It was a movie. It was actually a good movie.
Oh no.
Anyway, this is from Rocket Man, ROCKETMAN. And he says, I hope you're freaky in the bed. I love being... Right here.
Yeah, I see it. I'm trying.
I could do that.
I hope you're freaky in the bed. I love being my ass licked, fingered, and fucked, but not by a guy. I want to be a female with a strap on. Oh, you're a sub trying to get a slave. Not happening. Go find yourself a nice little dommy, and she'll fuck you in the ass all you want.
But he may have to pay for it.
That's true.
But it'd be worth it. So then
everyone needs work.
What have we got here?
Okay, now we have GE. No, where's? Oh, I must have left his name off. How unfortunate. I hope you know how incredibly sexy you really are. I just want to tie you up and blindfold you and take an ice cube and trace every inch of your sexy body with it till you scream, oh my God, yes! I could tell you more. All you have to do is ask. Now, why I didn't ask, I can't tell you.
I feel like you should have asked first. Really started it nice.
Yeah, I should have asked. I don't know why I didn't follow up with this.
I don't know either. I mean, just having an ice cube placed on you. Do you have some in the freezer? I could do it now.
I have ice cubes, but everyone that listens knows how I feel about ice.
I feel like we might be on the same page on that.
I hate ice with a passion.
Yeah, it's one of her limits, too. Damn it.
It's awful. You like the ice?
Ice in sets has its place.
Like in the glass?
Well, there is that. But if you've ever had your clit frozen and then licked, it's...
Oh,
the
worst.
Just the nearing sensation of an ice cube towards my clit is enough to just make me want to jump out of the bed.
Yeah.
You can't jump out of the bed if you're tied to it. So this guy says, anyway.
Yeah. Yes, and
no, I'm not big into ice play, but some women are, and that's fine.
It's
nice in the summer.
It's never nice. It is never, ever, ever nice. Never, ever, ever, ever.
I had a sub at one point that liked having ice cubes shoved inside.
Really? That's
and then get fucked on top of it. And
see, but it was a small ice cube, though, right? Because, I mean, that could cause freezer burn.
2 or 3 big cubes.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
That was just her thing, and that was her kink, and that was fine. And, hey, it didn't really didn't really feel bad to me either, but it's not something I go searching and looking for.
Okay, so I have to ask, and I ask all the tough questions here, and I will put you on the spot.
No.
Yes. No one's safe. You can't even pull the Dom card here. What was the sensation? I mean, obviously, like, it was, okay, we all know when the penis gets cold, there's a little
Shrinkage. I don't know. It was just a different feeling. It was just a different sensation. It's not something I'd go searching for.
Okay, well, you can't just give us
I
just a feeling.
I really can't explain it. It was just weird. It was an experience. That's how I can put it.
Okay, experience. That's all we're getting.
Hey, would you like to experience the experience?
Thank you, but you will have to email me first.
I had a girl that used to suck on popsicles and then give me a blowjob with a cold mouth, and that cold sensation, it makes you want to shrivel up, but at the same time you want to get hard because you're getting a blowjob, and it's kind of weird and strange, and what is kink but weird and strange stuff?
True enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've experienced both those things. They're not exactly my forte. They're not my kink. But they have their place with some people and some things, and just like furries. And I just got the evil look from her and the flip off from Vicky.
Okay, you know that our old congressman, what was his name, Senator Wayne or
Senator Wayne.
We'll leave it at that for now. Well, he was an Asian guy. I don't want to go. Yeah, I'll be called a racist anytime soon if I go with too many. But it was a typical Chinese Asian name. Yeah. Anyway, but he was a furry and he was all dressed up in a tiger outfit, and he mailed it out to all the other congressmen.
I remember that story.
Look that.
How do I not know this story?
Oh, but the thing was, he looked really good in his furry costume, much better than his senator or his congressman suit.
Probably because he paid about $4,000 for it.
I don't know, but it was.
Wow, I heard the story. I didn't know.
Yeah, he ended up resigning, but I don't know what happened. I guess he just kind of lost his marbles or whatever, because that's not a. I would never send out my BDSM photos to my work friends.
No.
Oh, why not? I'm sure they would enjoy seeing your bruised body.
Clearly, I'm not of same mind because you see those charmers I'm passing up.
You want to get into a topic that will get her riled up so bad?
Yes.
Get into the furries.
No, I don't care.
Yeah, this furries it is.
They're terrible and stupid and depressed all the time. Done. End of discussion.
No.
No, that is the end of that.
Why are they dumb, depressed, and what?
Because they just sit in their different on Facebook, Twitter, wherever, in their place, and then they enable each other constantly with being sad and spending money on things that are superfluous and don't need to have their money spent on it, like $4,000 dog costumes and cons where they go and meet other people in dog costumes and then go to raves and get drunk and wreck hotels and cause bad scenes. And then they witch hunt each other like no end tomorrow, and done. I don't.
Wait, I want to know about this witch hunt. How do they witch hunt each other?
They take everything excessively seriously. Art is a huge thing in there. They're the one community that spends way too much money on art in general, like commissions for character art, etc.
So you're talking like stills. What are they called? Help me out here. The
icons.
prints. No, the prints. The prints. But what do they have a special name for the prints? Oh.
Well, it's not prints. Usually they're just digital works that are posted online.
No kidding. I can make them some stick figure furries.
Yeah, no, they're super serious about it. They can spend up to $1,000 for a small slot in a giant character thing. It's ridiculous. But they also take it seriously in the sense of if anybody is caught doing anything bad or anybody gets called out on doing something bad, whether it be stealing money, backing out on a commission, screwing people over, or just tracing or something, then they will immediately get witch hunted by every other person trying to save face and claim that they're yell at them, telling them they're wrong until they get sad, and 50% of the time the person ends up committing suicide.
What?
Because it gets so bad.
Well, these are clearly unstable
Exactly.
people to begin with.
Yes. You're biting me. I'm sorry. Am I being too loud? No, they're ridiculous. And
okay, okay, here's the question. Okay, I'm not even sure. How do you know all this? Why do you know all this?
Because again, they spend money on art. I'm an artist by trade. I basically am only a part of it for the sake of, hey, throw some money at me. I have probably made somewhere up of $2,000 in total from all the art I've been doing over the past 3 years. And I still do. I can make like 40 every week if I'm good at it.
So she will whore herself out to the furries.
I draw porn, yes. I absolutely draw porn.
She draws furry porn.
I do. Fuck it.
Well, that's money. You know,
you know why I call her kitten, right?
I'm a pet.
You're a furry.
No, I am a pet. It's different.
Okay, I want to make it clear that I have no problems with her whoring herself out, because this was a discussion a couple weeks ago, but I used to work at this nightclub, and it was like taxi dancing where the men would pay money to sit and talk with you or dance with you, whatever. But you had some guys that would come in there, and they would want to buy your underwear.
Yeah.
Your panties. And I was like, okay, so, me and the other girls, we'd always carry extra pairs in our purse, and I was doing this back in the late 90s, or early 2000s, and so, we'd go buy a cheap pair of panties for like, $2 or something, and then give us 50. Who wouldn't do that? Just a really dumb person.
I have never, in 25 years being in the kink community, understood the panty fetish of getting a girl's panties so you can wear it over your face and sniff them.
Well, you know what?
Some of them, I knew one guy who had them in freezers, Ziploc bags, each one individually labeled and everything. And he'd come along and he'd open up a bag, sniff at it, and close the bag and put it back in his little filing cabinet. Like, what the fuck?
Well, there is a fetish for everything, because we also had this guy that would come in and he would sit with you, right? And he thought he was real clever, but like, I'm gonna demonstrate on your girl here. Come and he'd sit next to you, and he'd get real close to you, and he'd try to put his head on your shoulder and go. He was trying to sniff your pits.
Trying to sniff your pits.
He was. I swear, he was a pit sniffer.
I get it. Everybody has their own fetishes. Everybody has something that gets them off. I get off by being called master when we're having sex. If she's begging master to do something.
I think we've been off.
I hope not.
I think, well, no, maybe. I don't know. We got listeners.
Have we been off?
I don't know.
Hey, listeners, have we been off? Tell us.
We've been no, because look at they said here.
No, they've been listening.
Yeah, because it says a blowjob with a cold mouth is called a blizzard. So okay,
thank you.
Okay,
that's from a while ago, but yeah.
Last time I had one of those was back in the late 90s.
And you didn't even buy the person's panties.
Everybody has fetishes. I can't judge. Just because I don't understand it doesn't mean I'm going to judge them. If you want to buy panties, be my guest.
Well, I'm not judging, but I do find some of them comical, which I'm sure they find a lot of stuff we do very funny, or twisted, or warped. And
twisted, warped.
The
fact that I leave bruises on on Kitten's ass with a big giant leather paddle, some people will cringe at that, and don't judge me because I'm not going to judge you for yours.
Well, I judge because, let's face it, I'm judging because I think it's comical that we had a pit sniffer and panty buyer and stuff. But you know what? If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. I don't care,
Hey, if you want to go someplace that's fun, I'm going to throw out what do they call it when you throw out an advert for someplace? What do they call that?
Like the raves?
No, like if you're holding up a Pepsi can in a movie, it's
cameo? No.
No. It's advertise. It's an advertisement.
Yeah.
Product placement.
Product placement. You want some place to go? Go to the Oregon Theater up here in Portland.
Why? Well, you gotta give me more.
It's a porn theater.
Oh, I've never been to one of those.
Big giant screen theater. They have couches everywhere. And
I'd have to bring a plastic something to sit on.
They give sheets.
Oh.
And they have a couples and single ladies area, and in that it's roped off. And as Kitten and I are having sex in the couples area, there's 50 guys behind us all jerking off.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I really want to see this, but I'm definitely okay. Can I tag along sometime?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll totally go. I'll check this out. I'll bring it back. We'll tell them all about it. I've never been to anything like this.
No? Really?
I haven't.
So for those people that live in the Portland metro or Portland area of Oregon or anywhere nearby, remember the Oregon Theater.
Interesting. Okay, I really have to check that out.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, we went there last Saturday, and she was being really horny, and I don't mind sharing her from time to time. I had 5 guys line up and just train on her, and they all had condoms on, and they all busted a nut, in the condoms, and that one's finished. Next guy comes up and fucks her, and then we had the last guy just was taking too long. I finally told him, I said, "You're done. That girl wants her, so she's the priority."
I gave him the finger you're out, strike out finger. It's just like, get him out of there.
Okay, so do you hit the swingers clubs? Because I have been to the swinger club, and I have a good story on that one.
I would hit like Sanctuary, or I've been to the Velvet Rope, but it's not in several years.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to hit Sanctuary sometime. Unfortunately, Kittens is not of legal drinking age, so can't hit some of these. We can't go to these clubs yet.
Yeah.
As soon as she does, she's going to have a whirlwind of fun.
Well, okay, I should say I'm not a swinger, but as you can see, I will go any place and check it out.
Just because you're not a swinger doesn't mean you don't love sex.
Yeah. Well, so I went to the swingers club. This was really, really funny. Oh my gosh. And they would have theme parties.
Yeah.
And this theme party was Jerry Springer. Like Jerry Springer contestants. So, I get on my shorts. I have some pantyhose underneath them that have a big old run in them. I have some shoes that don't match, a small shirt on, and then I have like this army jacket over. I mean, I look like, a Jerry Springer contestant and stuff, and so I'm getting ready to go to the party. I told my friend, I'll meet you there, and he's like, okay, we'll call me when you get there, because he'd always come and get me, and we'd go in, and
yeah. I
didn't have to go to the parties alone. I'm on my way, and the police pull me over.
Oh, no.
Oh,
and
boy.
then they asked me to exit the car.
Oh, no.
And I'm just sitting there, and I was like, I'm on my way to a theme party, and the theme is Jerry Springer. I don't generally dress like this. And they're just cracking up. I didn't say it was a swingers party. I probably should have. But I didn't get a ticket or anything, so I guess it was good.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, I've been to the Velvet Rope back when it was Angels. I haven't been there since then. I want to check out Sanctuary, and there's another one that's new in town. I'd like to check out, but we got to wait for.
Are there any she can go to that are 18?
Catalyst.
Catalyst, okay.
But that's a dungeon club, not a swingers club per se.
Okay. Well, I think the Velvet Rope is the one I went to where they had that zipper girl where that big guy stood in front of me. And I thought it was pretty loud for parties.
Velvet Rope's a loud place.
Yeah.
It gets a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have I haven't been there since it was Angels, so I can't really say what their code of who they allow in and who they don't.
They allow pretty much anyone in. From what I understand, too, they're also starting to do, like, certain nights women can go, and they don't have to pay to get in, but then they jump the man fee up to, like, $40, $60 for entrance.
Well, yeah. That's normal.
Well, yeah, but generally they, like, usually there's a fee for women, but they jack up but that keeps a lot of the I think, I know in Los Angeles.
It keeps the bums that are on the street out. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, in Los Angeles, too, I know when I would go to the parties and everything, they had a thing, and I thought it was but I thought, first of all, they had a thing where men can go to the parties unescorted. They had to have a woman with them.
That would probably be a really good business model.
It was excellent because you had it kept out a lot of the, I guess you would call them trolls.
Yeah.
And just hitting on things, because I know I went to that was the Lair, but I went to this other club. What was it? It was Threshold, and they would let anyone in, and it was just like the guys used it as a meat market.
Yeah, sausage fest.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well that's not. But I like that they didn't let escorted men in. But I thought at some point, like once you were a regular, like if you and Vicky went, or you had different gals you go. But once you were established and they knew you weren't going to be hitting on everything in a skirt, that you should be able to attend, like maybe after 10 parties, maybe after, a year of attendance, and they know you're established, they know you're not a jerk.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of these swinger clubs, the reason why they get away with what they can do legally is because they're classified as a private club, a members-only club.
Oh, well, this was not a swingers club. This was a BDSM club that had the no single.
Okay, well, they still get away with it because they're a members-only private club. But they'll let anybody in as long as you pay the money for it to become a member. What these clubs should do, if they want to hire in clientele, if they want better people, is they need to start vetting the people that they allow to be members. It's like being an old gentleman's club where the guys sit around reading the newspaper, smoking cigars, and sipping brandy. You can't get into one of them unless you make a certain amount of money, and you've been vetted, and you don't have a criminal background, and you don't have this, you don't have that. I would actually love to see a swingers club that comes along, or a private members-only sex club like Velvet Rope and Sanctuary and things like that would come along and actually have that kind of a business model where you don't get membership just because you pay $80 for a 3-month membership.
Yeah.
You get membership after we've got your name, we've got a criminal background check, we've got this done, we've got, you've been drug tested, you've been STI tested. Once all these things are done, and then you pay $1,000 and you get a 1-year membership, and you can come and go as you please for that $1,000. But that means that's going to keep out most of the riffraff, 90% of it.
Yeah, but you know what? Okay, because $1,000 is kind of steep. But
Or
mean,
500, or
yeah, but there's a lot of people that can't even afford the 500. I'd like to see. I don't mind the background check and all that stuff, but I wouldn't like to see the people that can't afford paying that kind of fee, but they're decent members of the community, being shut out. I mean, I'd like to see a way. I mean, if they're background checked, and they'll go through all the the hoops to do what they. I'd hate to see the fee get in their way. I mean, I understand it's a business.
Yeah, but here's the thing: nobody's going to want a sex club to be able to do that. They're not going. Bringing in an STI test report saying that I'm clean from STIs, that's one thing. But they're not going to allow a sex club to do a criminal background check on them. They're not going to let them know their names.
Well, even the STI though, because that's only good the day you get it.
Yeah. I mean, as long as there's a strict, member's confidentiality, after the background check is done, it gets destroyed, type thing. But, yeah, anyway.
Okay. Sometimes I do now. Bronus is saying I don't wear panties, so what does she sell? This was back in the late 1990s, early 2000s, Bronus. Occasionally I do. I try not to because they are very dangerous and you can injure yourself wearing them. I went to put them on one time and I almost fell over and knocked my head in the dresser. So, panties are dangerous. Sometimes, yeah.
You don't wear panties?
Sometimes I do. Usually I don't. Today I'm wearing them. Today, well, because like certain outfits you put on the panties. They need that little, how it'll give you that little suck you need? Just.
I always wear underwear, so you're talking to the wrong person on this.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm a constant tight clothes person.
Well, I just, sometimes they give you that little extra tuck you need. But other than that, they're very, very dangerous, and they can kill you.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
I mean, I almost hit that dresser. The one in my room that my son got me. It's like solid wood because it's like from the 1800s. Uh-huh. So if I would have hit my head on that, I would have been hurt.
Yeah, you would have been. So, what else are people saying?
That's about it. We got the blizzard.
That conversation just was like, no.
And then he also, Rona says, a former sub, I used a blue popsicle on her. After we were finished, looks like the Smurfs pulled a train on her. Nice. And this is why we love our listeners.
I actually would love to see that.
Okay, now to use sugar-free popsicles because you don't want to end up with a yeaster.
Just go out and get some blue food coloring.
Oh!
Lollipops work too.
Okay, you have to get sugar-free lollipops. Again, you're going to end up with well, you won't definitely, but there's a good possibility of a yeaster coming on.
I would just love to see what you look. What?
Oh, they're enthralled by the kittens. Shall we take a break now?
Hey, we got 4 or 5 week old kittens in the house, and yes, we are both enthralled by them since we're taking 2 of them when they get old enough to go away from the mama.
And anyone else who wants a kitten can have one, but not my babies because my babies are mine, the little doggies.
I like this one.
Okay, so let's go to a commercial. We'll be back, and I should start getting during the commercial, I'll get the little, what time is it? Okay, we're going to a few songs, and we'll be back, and I'm going to get the contest entries ready, and we're going to have more to talk about, more laughs, more fun, all kinds of good time.
I laugh at everything, don't I?
We should probably put some panties in the mix for our giveaway. Just saying. I'm gonna go back to.
We can add a pair of Vicky's panties to the list.
Nice.
You like all of yours?
Yeah, I'd have to buy like a specific pair for it.
As long as you wear them. Okay, we'll be back.
I'll tell you right now, she smells delicious.
We'll be back. Back to Slave Nation on the Beaten Path, and now I'm going over to YouTube. 212. Welcome back to Slave Nation on the Beaten Path, and we're here with some more of our crazy antics.
Are we crazy? Or is this normal?
This is normal. Okay.
Normal doesn't exist.
This is true. Okay, so pretty soon we're going to be having our drawing. For any of those of you that have missed it, shame on you. There are apparently a couple listeners that didn't even know we had prize giveaways.
Aw.
Well, that is sad, because they're missing out on all the fun. And we've had...
Is my email address in there?
You didn't send anything.
I know I didn't.
Oh, you want me to throw you in there?
No.
Okay. But you gotta start emailing if you want to win the prize. Anyway, so
I'm a guest on this show. Why should I have to?
Oh, there goes that Domingo. So here's the rules to the contest. They're very, very simple. You can listen to the show live, or you can listen to it on YouTube before the contest ends. You're allowed one entry per show per person. So, like, let's say you have a sub in your house and there's you. Each one of you, it's not per household. Each one of you can send in one entry per show. You have to say something. If we miss a show, you have to say why you're so sad that we missed the show. And if you're listening to the show, you have to tell something that you like about the show, and then you're entered to win. It's not really hard to do. And this month we're doing a T-shirt from OneRuleSupersedes.com, from his me line, and you pick up once your name is called, you can contact Lou, tell him what shirt you want, tell him you won on Slave Nation. I'll let him know who the winner was. He'll send it on over to you. Also, I'm putting together a box of goodies. I'm still waiting for some to come through the mail. Once they all get here, I'll pack them up. I'll send them to you, and you have a prize of stuff. And you don't know what you're gonna get. You know, you can get nipple clamps, butt plugs, rope, tape, lube. You know, all kinds of fun stuff. Play-Doh.
You have butt plugs around?
No, I had a butt plug, but it was in my car, and my son and his girlfriend took it. It was a new one. It wasn't used. It was new.
I hope it was not.
They also took the nipple clamps, the crop, and a weenie ring. So.
Yeah, we broke my weenie ring the other day.
My girls. So you don't know what you're going to get in here. Now we have a comment from a listener. I'm going to go read. Eagles says that I gotta hold on.
Is this on Facebook?
It is. He says ice packs. Add 91% alcohol to the water in an ice pack so they do not freeze solid. If you're going to use an ice pack on your sub.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that. I might have known that. I might have forgotten it too. I don't have to think about these things because I'm not a dominant.
That's not necessarily true.
Well, unless I'm told to go fix the ice pack, then I have to think about it.
Unless you're with somebody who you've been with a long time, you know.
Or you go buy one at the store that's
yeah.
Pack.
Well, sometimes it's fun to make your own things. And also, he wants to send out a reminder that when you're seating with a sub that is fairly new to you, watch them as they may hold out on using their safe word in hope of pleasing the dom.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
A lot of newbie subs will do that. They will hold out using safe words because they think it's what you want, and that's not true. I mean, if you're at your limit, say something.
Yeah.
You know, don't hold off on a safe word just because you think it'll please the dom. Don't. It'll please the dom more if you use the safe word.
I agree. Well, okay, we also had the discussion because you know how I feel about safe words. I think I'm one that's going to go straight out of my head. You see, I can barely even remember what day it is when I'm looking at the date on the computer.
Yeah, well, safe words are good for new relationships. And we had that discussion last time we were here.
But I think you also have to watch, and if this sub, you have to read the expressions on her face, because she may very well forget her safe word, and if she's saying, oh my God, I can't take anymore, or stop, you have to kind of gauge, is this really a stop, or...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, that's any good Dom will do that. It's the ones that don't do that you have to be careful about.
Well, I think with the safe word issue, is one of the things with the safe word is they rely too much upon the sub using the safe word where it may go flat out of her head.
Well, in that kind of situation, if a submissive is the kind of person who will forget a specific word, that's when you communicate that to the person that you're seating with beforehand, saying, hey, I'm going to need you to do check-ins with me. Yeah. And that's like where number systems are easy, like, give me a color right now. You go, like, you get in with them and you talk to them directly versus waiting for them to try and remember something that they've already communicated at this point that they can't do.
Yeah, check-ins are always during a scene. A Dom should be checking, even lifelong Dom subs. The Dom should be and you're in the middle of the scene. That Dom should be checking in with his sub. Scale 1 to 10. Where are you at?
Yeah, okay, now in theory that's good too. I'm going to blow this out of the water for you. Again, you're going to get someone like me and go, is one good or is one bad? So if you just ask me, are we good to go, yes or no?
1 being good, 10 being bad.
Excellent.
Wow.
It's the...
I admit it, I can be a little bit of a scatterbrain airhead.
You'll be a handful.
It's just the idea of like a pain scale from like a doctor's office.
Yeah.
Like 7 after is when you want
to slow down.
Well, no. 7 after in a doctor's office is when you're going to get medication. That's when a dominant, like if you gave them a 7, that's when they can go, okay, I'll cool off slightly, and then in our case, keep pushing that, but slowly.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to take her to a 10, but once you hit a certain 7, 7.5, 8, you want to start slowing that progression upwards. You don't want to go straight from a 7 to a 10.
Yeah.
Instantaneously. You want to go 7, 7.5. 10 minutes later, you're at an 8. 10 minutes after that, you're at an 8.5. It could take a couple hours to get from a 7 to a 10. Then there's times when I don't want to take her to a 10. I don't want to push that limit. I want her at that 7. I want to maintain that 7 level. I want to keep her in that headspace of where she's at instead of taking her further in. Like last night, I had her. She literally almost passed out on me last night, and that was just a straight orgasm. But you want to always check and. Any good, I say this all the time, any good Dom, and I want to get that point across to any subs that are listening. Bad Doms don't do check-ins. Bad Doms don't listen to your safe words. Bad Doms want to take you from a 1 to a 10 in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Well, and also they don't want to listen to your ideas and suggestions. Now, this is not to say that you're going to go, oh, yeah, great, with every idea or suggestion or want or need.
Yeah.
But they should listen.
Yeah. Good Doms listen. Bad Doms don't. Bad Doms say, you're my slave, and that's the end of it. Do as I say. Get on your knees. Take your clothes off. Make me fucking lunch. Right, you walk in the door, and Bad Dom will go, take your clothes off and go make me lunch. That's all they tell you.
Yeah.
Or you walk in the door for the first time with a new Dom and they say, take your clothes off and start sucking my cock. What? There are times when that's applicable.
Yeah, but it has to be agreed to, especially in a first-time situation.
Yeah,
Should
you know,
be.
if I've been communicating with somebody through, you know, an online app or through FetLife or through text, and we've negotiated, hey, when you walk in the door, this is what's going to happen, and they say yes, that's informed consent.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to bring up the topic of consent, non-consent, but that's a
Would you like to do that next time you come on the show?
sure.
Let me
That is a can of worms that will drag every person in the world out to listen to your show.
Okay. I'll shoot my little post-it. I probably should have written here. Here we go. When would you like to come talk about that one? I'll nail you down.
Well,
Not literally,
we
but
have,
we can do that.
We have kittens. We gotta
Check
see.
on. Yeah.
And in 3 weeks they'll be weaned from their mother.
Well, no, that's when it's okay to wean them.
Just take them. Take them. Get a bottle. Take them. So when can I nail you down for this?
Probably about 3 weeks.
Okay. Sounds good.
Sometime like around the beginning of October.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You like that idea?
Yeah, I like that idea.
Good.
Okay, great.
Good. Are you sure?
I'm not sure. So, if Ronus wins, he doesn't want a pair of panties.
You don't want a pair of my kitten's panties?
And he doesn't even want a dirty old smelly sock. So,
Aww.
yeah. So, would you like to do the prize drawing now?
I'll let her pick a name.
I get to choose the hat
Yeah.
name?
Notice they're all in the hat here. I probably should get my hat a little.
You got a kitten's attention.
Pull one out. Let's see. Don't look. But you can't see the names because you have to undo. Okay. Let's see.
Let's see who the winner is.
Da-da-da-da.
Drum roll, please.
Okay, and we are opening. Austin 7. So he always sends those off to Barry's, his friend.
Oh, does he?
Oh, yeah, I probably should. Hold on.
Oh, you folded it back up. Didn't
Yeah, I did.
No,
So,
just put
do
it
I
back
got to
in
do the drum roll again?
So that's our winner.
Okie dokie.
Okay. Next time, Ronus is like Susan Lucci. He never gets the...
What time are you show over? 7?
Yeah, well, I think we're going to wrap it up early. I'm starting to get a little tired.
Aw.
I know.
And I've been staring at your tits the whole time.
Oh, thank you! Well, okay, come on. It beats you cringing and turning away.
This is true.
Yeah. So there we go. I'll be back next week. I don't know what I have in store for you, but we'll have a new contest coming on. Not sure what it's going to be. I've been looking into getting Slave Nation t-shirts made.
Oh.
Nice. Yeah, because it's time. I've been wanting to do this forever. So we'll be back. I'm going to let the music play. I know all you people listening, you like the rock and roll and all that other stuff, so I'll put on some rock and roll for you. We'll do the outro. We'll be back next week. I'm sorry, Ronus. You got to enter every single week. You were doing so good. You had lots of entries, and it just didn't happen.
Did you have, what's on the other chat program that you have? Is there one?
What? No, just this one.
Just that one?
Just
Last
this
week
one.
we had a different one.
Yeah.
Or not last week.
Yeah,
Last time we were here.
just this one, and we'll be back. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. Let me see when we're ending. Hold on a second. I think, wait, we got one more message here. Oh, good grief. Okay. Okay. We'll be back here. We're 2:26. 2:26. And we'll see you next week. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Okay, and now I got to go to the outro.
OneRuleSupersedes.com is proud to announce that they are streaming beatenpath radio on their website. And to celebrate, the website is giving away free bumper stickers. That's right, bumper stickers for free. There's a variety of sayings that you can choose from. To get yours, go to OneRuleSupersedes.com/me for free and click on the bumper sticker that you want and then use the coupon code me for free, that's ME, the number 4, and free, at the checkout, and they'll send it to you absolutely free. No tax, no shipping, no gimmicks, and no excuses for not getting yours today. There's a limit of 1 per person, and you have to be 18 years or older. And while you're there, check out their selection of t-shirts that they have on sale. And it's all right here at https://OneRuleSupersedes. That's the number 1, rulesupersedes.com/me for free. Again, that's ME number 4 free /. Get yours today.